there was an interview where he said that. I remember it. So nonetheless, let me go back to screen share because there's a lot of stuff to unpack with Tank and what he said with the Ferraris. You know, look, here's what Leonard Ellerbe said in regards to a report, and this was in regards to in regards to Subriel Matias. So actually, let me go back to the screen. Let me get to the whole. Here we go. We're gonna talk about why I don't think Tank will fight Subriel Matias, even if Subriel Matias is coming out and saying that they're negotiating. I don't believe it. I have a hard time believing it. And if he does, I'm gonna say this: he's probably only gonna fight Subriel Matias under some sort of special clause. Like Matias can't rehydrate over a certain level, or he got to come down in weight. It's going to be something crazy. Mark my words.
Damn, if he was able to go up to 147, fight Barrios, why can't he make 140 easy and
40.
do that?
It was 40.
What was Barrios at 40?
It was at 40.
Okay, 140. So
he actually won the regular title.
Okay.
But
back to this.
This is a report on Twitter earlier in the week, and basically someone had reported that Tank is going to fight Subriel Matias on this March 30th date that's being floated around out there for PBC's first call on Amazon Prime. To that, Leonard Ellerbe called cap. He said it's not happening. And Leonard Ellerbe, he had a whole lot to say in regards to the Subriel Matias fight. So I actually wanted to kind of highlight that because, you know, we know Leonard's MO. We know what Leonard says. And listen, I got respect for Leonard Ellerbe. Like, he's been in the game for a long time. Yeah. He was a central part of what Floyd had going on. You know, he definitely knows a thing or two about the business of boxing. But it's been so many years, and every time the fans ask, and I remember as like far back as 2019 when Tank was going back and forth with Josh Taylor, you know, he always uses money and the fact that Tank actually sells to not make fights happen, when really that should be more of a reason to make the fights happen, right? So my thing is this. Here's a couple things that Leonard Ellerbe had to say about Gervonta Davis. So this is one tweet. So this is actually a picture of Tank at the Ryan Garcia fight, and that's Devin Haney looking on at Tank Davis. You know, Devin's got this look of like, oh my God, that guy's a superstar, right? And Leonard said, who don't want to be at the hot shit? Tank fights resemble the Mike Tyson fights back in the day and the Floyd fights. You are going to see the rappers, the pop artists, the actresses, the actors, the models, the ball players, the hustlers, the fly ladies, and the fly guys. Big boy events. And listen, I can attest to that. I can actually attest to what it's like at a Tank fight. Yeah, I've been to two of them. I was there live in the flesh during the pandemic when he fought Leo Santa Cruz. You know, there was sectioned off seating, so you didn't quite get the whole feel what a Tank fight was really like. But then when I went to this Ryan Garcia fight, oh my God, this shit was like unlike anything I ever experienced. It was off the chain. It was off the chain in there. So he's not wrong when he says that, but that's still no justification for why you can't make the big fights happen. Because look, as big of a star as he is, you get a guy like Devin or Shakur or Tio or even like a Subriel Matias, you got an even bigger fight on your hands, right? So that's what it is, right? That's one thing he said. Another thing he said, and this was strictly about Subriel Matias. So one guy, there was a tweet here where the guy said, bruh, you and your whole team don't have the guts to put Tank in front of that killer, Subriel Matias. Subriel loves to fight those Baltimore fighters. Do you remember? You remember clearly what happened to Tank's boy Malik Hawkins fighting Subriel. It means more than regular fight. He is a juggernaut. And to that, Leonard Ellerbe said, bruh, Tank is a 135-pounder. You should personally focus on building your guy up instead of chasing Tank. He's a good fighter, but nobody knows who the fuck he is. You should be trying to collab instead of talking stupid. So with that being said, look, Tank wasn't too small for Mario Barrios, who's now at 47. Oh, shit, but now he's too small for Subriel Matias. Like, which one is it? Yeah. You like, and this is where people have a problem with Tank, because he's not too small to fight Hugo Ruiz and Leo Santa Cruz and all these guys, but he wasn't too small for Barrios, but he's too small for Subriel Matias. So I don't like that. I don't think that's cool, because Tank had a belt, at least a version, a piece of the belt at 40, right? So that's a contradiction. I don't care what Leonard says. That's a big ass contradiction.
And I'm gonna say it like this. To me, I don't care what. I mean, I get he has legitimate points that Tank sells and he brings out all the stars and all the glitter and everything. But what the fuck's that gonna do about his legacy? If he gets in there and fights a fighter like Matias, and he gets that battle tested, then we want to see what Tank is all about. Is he really that Baltimore NIGG-er? You know what I'm saying? from there. So we don't know until it happens. So I honestly feel like they're just trying to protect him more than anything else. That's how they do it.
Well,
because I don't want to see. I don't know about you guys. I don't want to.
Let us know in the chat.
I don't want to see.
Who do you want to see Tank fight?
Fight no friggin'
Rob Valenzuela?
No Rob Valenzuela.
How about Lamar Roach?
No Lamar Roach. No, if it ain't no big names or anybody can go up and test up at the level he's supposed to be at by now, like because he's behind running that bike. You know what I'm saying? He's behind running that bike. Everybody's way ahead of him. He's got to show out and do something. Yes, he sells jerseys.
You want to see him fight Frank Martin?
I'm done. Martin's another one. I want to get there. I want to see him to step up. I don't care who he fights, but it's got to be a big name or names that are going to test him.
You know, a fight where you think, he'll be in a little bit of danger at least. You know, where there's some doubt with the outcome.
The thing is, we'll go back to what you said earlier in this conversation. Gervonta Davis has two good names. Is two right, and his resume that actually good.
I think it's more than two, but
I mean, I'm talking reasonable talent-wise. There's only like two guys that you basically say that he actually fought and did something to him and tested him, right?
Yeah.
And so he's 30 years old. All I'm saying is, if he's this bad motherfucking talent that he really is, why is Leonard Ellerbe always when you talk to Leonard Ellerbe, that's all he ever talks about? Who cares? It's about, you're right, it's about money business. It's about putting asses on the streets and making money. You're right. But I'm going to go, I'm going, my New Year's resolution this year is,
talk to him, Pops.
I am sticking with the turkey. You know why? Because the turkey is making more sense than half of these motherfuckers have been in boxing in America. And he doesn't even speak it. He got all kinds of ideas.
He barely speaks English.
Right. And what I like about turkey is that, like he said, I'm going to make a big fight, but I want to make it minimal with undercards just as big. So he wants to put all the big names out there.
Yeah.
I was telling Brandon, they should do like the World Boxing Series did. Put all the light heavyweights.
I kind of hope they bring
light heavyweights, and do a whole tournament with all like that. You know what I'm saying? It'd be interesting for all the fans. Turkey can do all that, but when you got LB blocking everything, like saying shit like that, I don't understand. I mean,
thank you, Pops. I'm sorry. But I wanted to go about the screen share to bring something up because this is a fight that Subriel Matias asked for quite a while ago. This is actually an article from last April. So
you've been watching them?
This is last April.
Holy
Matias
shit.
was already talking about Tank last April.
Yeah.
And of course, look, we get it. But at the time, I believe last April, Matias probably wasn't even champion. It may have been a little bit before, a little bit after the heaviest opponent fight. I can't remember right now. But nonetheless, here's what he said. It was very tactful.
Yeah.
He didn't mince his words. There weren't too many words used, but he said, I'll highlight it for you guys right here. He said the following, and I quote, "Congrats, champ. I would love to take your 0 and add it to my knockout percentage."
Woo!
So he wants to fight. My thing is this: you can't have the cake, eat it too. You can't be too. There was never any complaints when it came to fighting Hugo Ruiz, Jesus Cuellar, Leo Santa Cruz. Why? Because they were smaller guys coming up in weight. When you fought Barrios, and he was weight drained and whatnot, you had no problems with that. When Rolly wasn't, his best, you had no problems with that. So you can't have a cake and eat it. You can't just shuck and jive and pick whatever.
Can't be double
standards. My thing is, look, you don't want to fight Shakur, or at least there's no rush from both sides. I'll be fair. Top Rank has stated in the past they're not really too keen right now making a fight unless they have the help of Turkey Al-Sheikh in Saudi Arabia. They've said in the past they don't want to really make the fight because they don't make enough money. Same thing with PBC and Ellerbe. But look, Matias, and this is another contradiction because Mayweather said, and I'm going to quote Floyd himself, and I may have to go get this clip and put it in my stream one day, but Mayweather said himself, I believe it was after the Barrios fight, when they asked Tank about fighting Devin and Shakur and Tio and these other guys, he said, and I quote, "Why make another company great when we have fighters in-house here at PBC?" Right? So my thing is, okay, if that's the case, Subriel Matias is an in-house fighter.
Hello.
He fights on the PBC platform. So what's the issue? You're not making another company great. That's a perfect in-house fight to make. So there shouldn't be any promotional politics, right? And he wants to fight, and he's looking for that fight that's going to put him over. And look, I'll tell you right now, if Tank go in there and he fights Subriel Matias, that's going to be, big on his resume, because right now, look at all these guys at 140. Regis Prograis didn't want no smoke. Richards and Hitchens didn't want no smoke. A lot of guys didn't want no smoke.
And this is why, as much as sometimes I get pissed off Lopez, Teofimo, you know what I like about him? When the fight came up, yeah, they talked about a couple of weeks or months before they wanted the fight made. What they're doing, they're negotiating the fight now. So he's willing to go out there. He's not saying, well, I'm going to wait months and I'm going to wait this. I'm going to go in June or whenever they're supposed to fight. And I'm going to fight this Puerto Rican. and how much how good I am. And then he's also dreaming about fighting Crawford. His mentality is a lot different. I'm not saying he should go up there, but I'm saying Tank doesn't even have that mentality.
Yeah,
he doesn't, and you got to have that.
So yeah, in regards to Matias, it's like, man, how am I supposed to believe? And obviously Leonard already came and he deaded that in the water. They're not going to fight each other. But even if he didn't dead it in the water, and Matias is saying now on Instagram that they're in negotiations for a fight, how am I supposed to believe that it's happening if Gervonta Davis has followed the latter stage of Floyd Mayweather's career, and he's always in his whole career, he's always fought the lowest risk for the highest reward. That's been his MO his whole career, you know? And he don't got to do all that. He's good enough on his own where he can fight the top guys, fight the best fighters, and beat those guys. He's that good.
He's a special talent.
He's a special, really amazing fighter. Yeah. Anybody who sparred with him, anybody been in the ring with him in the gym, they know this about him, right? So you don't need to do all these play all these, as my buddy RIP to him, my boy Charlie would say, all these tacky games. You don't got to play all these tacky games, you know? Mm-hmm. So that's just where I stand on the whole matter. We'll get to the comments in a second because I see we got a whole lot of comments, but make sure you smash that like button. It's your boy BT. We got Pops, the untouchable True School Sports Empire. Yeah. It's the second day in a row. 90 days of boxing. We're going live 90 days in a row. We don't get tired. We get better. We don't get tired. We get money here on True School Sports. So good to see you guys. Last couple points about Haney, and then we'll get to the comments. So couple things, Devin did chime in about this whole thing with Tank, and he said, look, simply just have your people reach out, Gervonta, and we'll read the comments from the youngest boss in the game, Devin Haney,
mm-hmm.
As Bill would say.
Yeah.
He stated the following, and I quote, I've been calling that dude out for years. He only says something when I got to fight, but now I don't. We can fight now wherever he chooses. He then went on by saying, where's the other quote? Where is it? Yeah, he then went on by saying, he said, we don't know how to get in contact with him. Well, have your people reach out, Gervonta. And look, I'm going to tell y'all this. Any fighter who says, I don't know how to get in contact with another fighter's team in boxing, it's complete horseshit, because I'm going to tell you guys this. The boxing world is this small. There's people that I know of or I know about or know of, and I never met them in real life just because boxing is that small. I know someone who knows someone who knows someone, right. And vice versa. I'm sure there's people that know things about me because they know someone who knows someone who knows someone that knows me, because that's how small the boxing game is. And I'm not just talking about the fighters. I'm talking about the media, the managers, every facet of boxing. The boxing world is very, very small. So anybody who's saying that is kidding themselves, or they're just being lazy. So my thing is, I think Devin would fight Tank if the opportunity presented itself. I think Devin Haney, you gotta look at his career. And look, I'm no Devin Haney fanboy. I'm not like a lot of these channels here on YouTube. Respect to all the other content creators, but I'm not no Devin Haney dick rider. He's a fantastic fighter, and I think his career has shown. If you look at his history, his career, he's shown that he's the only fighter in his age, at his age, that's fought on Showtime, that's fought on DAZN, that's fought on ESPN, that's had that contractual freedom to move how he wants, and that's down to the job his dad Bill Haney has done with managing his career. Mm-hmm. I think if the opportunity presented itself, Devin would fight Tank. I think really when it comes to this situation, Tank is, for better or for worse, the A side, right? But the caveat, like I mentioned earlier, is the fact that Saudi has come into boxing and they're willing to put up the money. So it's like, will Tank and Leonard Ellaby and the PBC, will they put their egos aside and go ahead and make these fights happen for the fans and for the legacy? And look, it's funny, right? Because this is Tank from about 7 years ago, back in 2017. This is Tank was saying about Devin in 2017. Mm-hmm. He said, Devin is a young bum that spars bums and puts it on the internet, and he's using everybody's name to get on. Fuck out of here. Oh, he then went on and said, he's a bum-ass young fighter. He got my name in the mouth to get on. You will never be me. You was handed your cars and money. I worked for mine. We doing it for different reasons. So he's been talking a lot about Devin for many, many years. He then went on by saying, and he got into a spat, a bit of an argument with Sean Porter the other day, because Sean Porter had insinuated that neither Devin nor Tank really wants to fight each other. And shout out to Sean Porter. He's a friend of the show. He's my friend in real life. I love Sean Porter. That's my guy. But he said, this is Tank the other day. He said, now ask Sean this question. If I beat his ass in the gym and he was over 147 pounds, why would I be scared to fight an MF with just a nose? Shit just not adding up. And he's talking about Devin Haney.
Yeah.
So a lot of talking, right?
I mean,
and you don't got to do all this talking because
I just say talk is cheap. Your actions speak louder than your words. Stop all that back and forth on Twitter. Stop all that bullshit. And just like Benu says, when they come out and say they can't contact each other, both teams or any teams are full of shit. Okay, especially if you've been in boxing that deep. So don't. That's just an excuse or lame just to stall whatever thing it is. Don't say you don't know. All of a sudden you got Alzheimer's and you forgot. Come on, man.
And this is funny. Everyone's like, this how I know I'm doing a good job because this guy said you sound like a Devin Haney. I'm not. That's why it's funny, right? I've been called a Devin Haney hater, a Tank hater, a Ryan hater.
No, you hate
I'm just telling y'all the truth. Like I'm telling you exactly the truth about the Devin and the Tank situation. Listen, if it never happens, it is what it is. Why ain't y'all calling for Devin to fight Subriel? I have. If you go back and you look at my video archive, I have. I've criticized every. I've literally said Regis Prograis, Devin Haney, everyone at 40 who has a belt or has had a belt in the last couple of years. They've been disgraceful. Go check the archives. I've been doing that. But this live ain't about that. This live is about what Tank said in regards to Devin. This live is about what Leonard Ellaby was saying to Subriel Matias, and that's why I'm talking about that.
Yeah, I mean, guys, let's be real, man. We're grown people here with adults, with all due respect. Don't get your feelings hurt or get sentimental about your shit. We're just talking boxing. You have your point, but don't sit and try to, throw words in our mouths that we talk about. We talk about all kinds of fighters. We don't dick ride nobody. That's the last person he respects his dad, Mr. Bill Haney and Devin Haney, but he does not dick ride nobody.
So. The Saudis called Tank's bluff and they said we'll give you the money. Exactly, they did. So all this. What's the holdup? It's funny. You ninjas in the chat complaining about PBC and this Hyro. You niggas in the chat. You ninjas in the chat complaining about PBC. Just wait for the rollout. They can't get PBC out of the mouth when PBC is doing anything. There you go. Right on time. Right on time. Desi Sanchez says Subriel Matias has 2 countries behind him, Puerto Rico and Mexico. It will sell.
That's right.
We'll see. We'll see how. Listen, I just hope that the PBC and the people that administer his career get him to start fighting in like Puerto Rican markets so he can build his fan base.
The bottom line is the money's there now. There's no excuse why fights can't be made. The money's there.
Matias is calling out Devin who's in the weight class. Let's talk about that. Well, I talked about it before. He called him out. Bill Haney was capping, saying that he needed to speak to Peter Kahn about the fight, or he called Peter Kahn. Peter Kahn doesn't represent Matias. All that stuff you're talking about, I've already had videos about it. I rebutted all of it. So I'm not these other people on YouTube. I don't know who you think you're talking to, champ. It's the homo boxing. We cover it all. Next Gen Combat TV says 2023 Ferraris only cost $500K. Turkey's gonna definitely send 2 to his front door. And listen, we gonna see. Harold says, finally, you're talking about American fighters, man. No, you care Japanese. You don't need BoxRec only when it comes to Japanese boxing. Nah, I mean, look, I need boxer for some of these dudes that Tank and Haney be fighting sometimes. Salute to BT and Pop. Shout out to Carl. We see you, Carl. Good to see you. MEZBX presents a nice little fight here. Now I think this is actually kind of unrealistic.
Yeah.
But he says, imagine a Tank versus Gary Anton Russell in the DMV area.
Yeah,
that's good in theory, but the thing is, Gary Anton Russell, he's kind of in the same boat as Brandon Lee, who he's a talented 140-pounder. He could definitely mix it up with some of the biggest and the best names in the division, but unfortunately, they're just not moving him. Like he's not getting fights. I know they've said that he's turned down some fights, so I don't think they let Tank move up to fight a guy like him because there's no money in that fight. I think a more realistic fight, if you want to talk about DMV fights in-house, or not in-house because this guy's a free agent now, but I think Tank versus Lamar Roach is more realistic because that's a smaller guy coming up, and that's what they normally do. They get the smaller guy to come up and fight Tank.
Yeah.
So that to me, that's more realistic. Let me see. Was Ryan a 135 fighter when Tank fought him, Leonard? Well, no. Ryan, right before he fought Tank, had fought Javier Fortuna at 140, and that's why they drained him down to 36. I think it was 136 pounds they fought at. But that's Ryan's fault. We're not gonna blame Leonard or Tank. Ryan decided on his own to take that, and he listens to the wrong people, and that's why things played out how they did. You're the only American that covers Japanese boxing while all the others suck off. Well, look, it's not about hating the Americans or loving the Japanese. I just love boxing, right? So they've The Japanese fighters are contributing a lot to the boxing right now.
But he's right what he's telling you.
But yeah, I appreciate you. Thank you. Thank you.
How he sees it.
Thank you. Felix Gonzalez says, Subriel is up to challenge with anyone. Congratulations on your show, brother. Thank you for being here, Felix. We appreciate it.
Puerto Rico, puñeta. Vamos pa encima, para que lo sepa.
Let me see. What else we got? Oscar de la Coca says, next gen, you love Ryan Garcia. I saw, okay. I'm not going to talk about other people here. You guys know how easy it'll be to stream PBC for free. Yeah, it could be. No, look, Lamar Roach would be a good fight. I like Lamar Roach versus anybody. But look, Lamar Roach, he just became champion. You know, he need to go fight Otar Erenosian, and he need to go fight, you know, Oshaki Foster and them guys there, and try to unify the division. You know, Tank and him, that fight wouldn't surprise me. I asked Lamar Roach about it myself when I interviewed him at the WBA convention, and he said that he'd be open to it if it happened, but it's not like something that's immediately on his radar, you know? He said Gary Anton Russell wants Subriel Matias. Well, I hope so. Look, it'd be nice to see Gary Anton Russell against somebody, because Gary Anton Russell, he beat Victor Postal, and he hasn't really been fighting a whole lot since then. And that's unfortunate, because Gary Anton Russell is a tremendous talent, great hand speed, punching power, out of the southpaw stance, has a good attitude for boxing. I wouldn't mind them matching up Gary and what's his name? Brandon Lee. Yeah, that'd be a good fight. But nonetheless, that's kind of my thoughts on Tank versus you know,
if the Matias,
Haney, and all that stuff. So I'm pretty much gonna dead it in the water there. But if y'all got anything y'all want to say,
yeah, it's all good.
If y'all got anything y'all want to say about that, leave it in the comments and I'll get to it. LS Legend, shout out to him, says Lamar Roach versus who? They better not move him up. Yeah, I think if Tank was to do a fight in the DMV against another DMV fighter, it wouldn't be against Gary Russell Jr. It would be against Lamar Roach. But I want to see Lamar Roach fight his WBA mandatory challenger, Otar Erenosian. If you don't know who that is, go do your homework. Yeah, that's all I'll say. You cover Japanese boxing, but why don't you cover New Japan Pro Wrestling? You don't know. This is a high road. This is a high road account. It's got to be a high road account. I don't really care too much for New Japan Wrestling, but shout out to New Japan Wrestling. Nonetheless, it wasn't this whole thing with Tank, with the Ferraris. That wasn't the only thing that happened in boxing today. Your boy Rolly, he made the headlines.